If Megamind and Syndrome faced off, who would win? Who is smarter? And who is stronger? Who would come out on top? Go ahead and make your bets in the comments, and let's dive in. If you want to grab some popcorn or chocolate to enjoy while watching this video, now's the time. Let's analyze both characters as they're presented in their movies. On one side, we have Megamind from the movie Megamind, a guy who wasn't originally a villain, became one, and then turned into the hero of the story. He left his home planet as a baby due to an invasion, and when he arrived on Earth, he ended up landing in a prison, which became his home. He dedicated his life to fighting the hero Metro Man and taking over Metro City. On the other side, we have Syndrome, the villain from the first The Incredibles movie. As a child, he wanted to join his favorite hero, Mr. Incredible, but after being ignored by him, he devoted his life to fighting him. In addition to Mr. Incredible, he wanted to eliminate all superheroes. Let's start with Megamind. Poor thing. As I mentioned, he lost his parents due to an invasion of his planet, and on Earth, he lived in a prison. From a young age, there was always someone who stood out more than him, the boy who would become Metro Man. As for Megamind's abilities, he was always very intelligent, hence the name Megamind. Even as a child, he was already creating various experiments and weapons. He was always very tech-savvy and invented things no one had ever seen before, making numerous inventions even while in prison. Megamind has a good heart. Speaking of his abilities, the guy had a watch that could scan any person and allow him to transform into that person. Megamind is a super inventor. Of course, we also have to consider that he had Minion by his side, who not only took care of Megamind, but was also his best friend and helped with the inventions and plans. And what are Megamind's weaknesses? Well, for a good part of his life, he didn't go into a fight with the intention of winning or killing his rival. He just wanted to fight and lose. He actually enjoyed losing and getting beaten. He would narrate his own battles. So for him, entering a battle was just for fun. He was proud, thinking he was the best and knew everything. And he even created a hero to fight against himself. Come on, that's just not right. Comment below on which character duel you want to see next on the channel. Now, let's talk about Syndrome, Megamind's opponent. He was a guy who just wanted to help his idol and who, from a young age, dreamed of being a superhero but ended up using his intelligence for evil. And that didn't turn out well for him. Syndrome is also intelligent and highly C. In addition to these skills, he created a fortress, a kind of headquarters, to devise and execute his plans, and he even hired a huge team to help him. Syndrome made a lot of money selling his weapons and technologies worldwide, but the ones he considered the best, he kept just for himself. Syndrome had very clear objectives in mind. He always knew what he wanted. He had several omnidroids designed to kill various heroes. He was very calculating and wanted everything done his way. And what are Syndrome's weaknesses? He saw himself as the king of technology, but almost all of his gadgets relied on his bracelet, which he wore on his left arm. Without it, he couldn't do much of anything. After one of the omnidroids removed his bracelet, Syndrome was left almost powerless, as the omnidroid's control was built into the bracelet. Another thing, Syndrome didn't actually want to help the population or do good. He just craved fame and success. In short, Syndrome wanted attention and for everyone to applaud him. Also, Syndrome wore a cape, and that's what ultimately led to his death. Megamind also wore a cape, but you get the reference. After this video ends, click on this card because I also made a video about Kai vs Tai Lung, and that fight has actually already happened. Check it out, it's really good. With all this in mind, who would win this duel, Megamind or Syndrome? Well, Megamind is a tech genius with only Minion as his main ally. Syndrome was also brilliant with technology and had an entire army plus Mirage, who was a huge help. The fight between these two wouldn't be a fist fight. They're both tech geniuses who've created all sorts of weapons, so their battle would definitely involve technology. Taking into account all the skills and weaknesses I've mentioned in this video about Megamind and Syndrome, Megamind would definitely win this duel. Megamind had a dehydration gun. He could just point it at Syndrome and that would be the end of it. Plus, Megamind has a watch that can transform him into anyone he wants. The guy is amazing. He could catch Syndrome by surprise, maybe even disguise himself as Mirage, and Syndrome would never suspect a thing, allowing Megamind to take him down easily. Even though Syndrome was smart, he put over 70% of his powers into a bracelet, and without that, he could hardly do anything. One thing that helped Megamind win this duel against Syndrome is that he learned to focus on the fight. Before the final battle against Titan, he was all about messing around. He just wanted to have fun with Metro Man. But later, when Megamind realized that he had to either defeat Titan or risk losing everything, the city, the girl he liked, he stepped up and defeated Titan, ultimately becoming a hero. If the duel against Syndrome had taken place during the time when Megamind was still fighting Metro Man, he would have definitely lost. But after the fight with Titan, Megamind became a new man, a hero, and yes, he would defeat Syndrome. If you want to know who won the fight between Tai Lung and Kai, click on this video. And did you know that there are humans inside the cars from the movie Cars? Click here to find out more. Thanks, and see you in the next Cine Lovers.